Namaste students, welcome to RSV Group of Schools YouTube channel. Today we will start new chapter, that is chapter 12, friction, from class 8 science. Now in this chapter we will talk about the definition of friction, causes of friction, types, its advantages and limitations in detail. So let's start with the discussion of term friction. What is friction? Friction is the opposing force. It is an unbalanced force that works opposite to the motion of an object. If you push this chair or table forward, then friction works in the opposite direction. If you push it from the left side, the friction works towards right. And if you push it from the right side, the friction works towards left. It means friction is the opposing unbalanced force that stops or decreases the motion of an object. You must have seen that the ball rolling on the ground comes to rest after some time due to friction between the ball and the ground. Similarly, if the engine of a vehicle is turned off, then the vehicle would come to rest due to friction between the tires of the vehicle and the road. Similarly, if a rider stops pedaling the bicycle, then the bicycle would come to rest due to the same force that is called friction. If we stop rowing the boat, then the boat in water would also come to rest due to friction exerted by fluid. So these all are the experiences from day-to-day life where we can see the impact of friction as opposing force, as an unbalanced force. We have studied in the previous chapter forces, that unbalanced force is the force which can stop a moving body, which can change the speed or the direction of the body, and friction is one of the unbalanced forces. Now, we can also take friction as an example of contact force. Contact force, you know, is the force which works only when two surfaces, two bodies comes in contact with each other. Now, friction only works when the two surfaces comes in contact with each other. Without contact or from a farther distance, friction cannot work. So, it is called a contact force. Now, what is the cause or the factors which affect the friction? Friction is caused due to irregularities on the surfaces. I have shown these irregularities on the surface through a diagram. Every surface has these irregularities. Smooth surfaces have less number of irregularities, while rough surface, dull surface have more irregularities. So what happens? We feel less friction on the smooth surface and more friction on the rough surfaces. So these irregularities are responsible for friction because when the two surfaces comes in contact with each other, then there occurs interlocking due to these irregularities. Now if the surface is smooth, this interlocking can be overcome by applying a little force. But if the surface is rough, then these interlockings are strong and we have to apply greater force in order to overcome the friction. So this is the main cause of friction, that is irregularities on the surfaces which cause interlocking. If the interlocking is less, friction can easily be overcome. If the interlocking is large, then you need to apply larger force to overcome that friction. This is the main cause of friction. Now, friction can be taken as a necessary evil. Necessary because it is must, but evil, it is a bad in some cases. Now, how it is necessary and what are the adverse effects of friction? Let's discuss it in detail. Without friction, I cannot write on the board, chalkboard. You cannot write on your paper or in your notebook without friction. We cannot walk without friction on the floor. You must have seen that it would be difficult to walk on wet surface or on highly polished, shiny surfaces. It is because of lesser friction over there. So without friction, we cannot walk on the floor, we cannot write on board, we cannot write in copy, we cannot fix nail in the wall, we cannot drive vehicles on the road, and we cannot change its direction easily without friction. It would lead to accidents if there would be lesser friction on the road, because the cars or the vehicles would slip and collide with each other. So by these examples we can understand that how friction is necessary. Some more examples can be taken from day-to-day life. For example, during winter season we rub our hands. So when we rub our hands, what happens? Friction, due to friction heat is produced and our body gets warm. Similarly, friction is also required to burn a matchstick. In ancient times, people used to rub stones to produce fire. That also happened due to friction. Without friction, you cannot burn matchstick. So these all examples prove that friction is definitely necessary in some cases. But there are adverse effects of frictions as well. These adverse effects belong to the production of heat. You must have seen that when we use any motor, fan or electrical or electronic equipments, then their bodies get hot after their use. For example, if we touch the motor of this fan, then we will find it hot. If we touch the beaker or the jar of the mixture juicer grinder, then we would also find it hot. This is also due to friction. After using the vehicle, if we touch its engine, then we would find it hot because engine also produces friction. So the heat that is produced due to friction in these examples is the loss of energy. The electrical energy or the energy of fuel is getting wasted out in the form of heat due to this friction. Hence, these are the adverse effects or the evil effects of friction. So we should adopt some measures to reduce this friction in order to save the energy. If friction is reduced, then this energy, the electrical energy, can be converted into mechanical work and less into heat. So in the next part, we will talk about now we will talk about the methods of increasing friction. We need to adopt some methods in order to increase or decrease the friction according to different cases. So what are the methods of increasing the friction? In some cases, we need to increase the friction, like grooved shoes. If you see the soles of the shoes or the slippers, they are grooved. These grooving on the shoes or slippers help us to move easily on the surface without slipping. Similarly, treaded tires. The tires of the vehicles are also treaded so that they can make a better grip with the irregularities on the road. This helps them to move faster on the road without slipping. Otherwise, when the vehicles are in speed and the brakes are applied, then they would slip and this would lead to accidents. So, treaded tires, grooved shoes, and in kabaddi, you must have seen that the players rub their hands again and again with the soil so as to prevent slipping or to increase friction. So these are some examples where we can understand that how we can increase the friction. Now in some cases we need to adopt measures to decrease friction. How can friction be decreased or reduced? Friction can be decreased or reduced by using lubricants. In machine parts, in engine, lubrication is done by putting oil in them. These oils form a layer on the parts and does not let them rub each other. This would reduce the production of heat when the engine works, when the motor rotates, and this can be done by using oil, grease or graphite. Oiling and greasing is done in machine parts, in automobiles, and in graphite are used in motors and generators to reduce friction. So we have motor, we have generator in which graphite is used as a solid lubricant. These are liquid lubricants, oil, grease, and solid lubricant, graphite. While playing indoor game like carom, we also sprinkle powder on it. That powder also reduces the friction and makes the movement of the striker and carom coins easily on the board. So these are some common examples by which we can understand that friction can be reduced. In those machine parts or equipments where oil cannot be used to reduce friction, companies provide air cushion. Air cushion means there is a packing of air which does not let the two parts of the machine rub with each other and help in reducing the friction and the production of heat. Besides this, you must have seen that heavy containers and luggages are provided with wheels. They are provided with wheels, and wheels help them to drag easily on the surface with less production of heat and with minimum efforts. So these are all examples by which we can reduce friction in our day-to-day life. Now we will talk about types of friction. There are three types of friction: static friction, sliding friction and rolling friction. Static friction works when two bodies are pressed against each other. They are at rest. Static means rest. When the two bodies are at rest and they are heavier too, then the interlocking between their surfaces has happened to a larger extent that it would be difficult to drag a heavy box or to push a heavy box on the floor. So this is what we call static friction. Now, tell me, is it easy to move an object which is at rest on the surface or a moving object? So I think it would be easier to move a moving object. Sliding friction can be understood in the same way. If someone is sliding the object and if you push that object, then that can easily be slided on the floor. Now what happens in static and sliding friction? Why is static friction greater than sliding friction? In static friction, because the two objects are at rest. So what happens? The interlocking between them is strong. But due to sliding, they do not get enough time to make that interlocking, and hence that can easily be moved on the floor. So this is the difference. Here they get enough time for interlocking, here enough time is not available for interlocking with the surfaces, hence the object can easily be slided on the floor. And much lesser than it, as compared to these both types, the friction that is much lesser than it is the rolling friction. When you roll someone, you can take one example. Just keep 2-3 pens or pencils below your notebook. Now what would happen? The notebook can easily be rolled over these pens. Similarly, to decrease friction, we attach wheels on the luggage. The friction is greatly reduced and even the heavier luggage can easily be pulled. Thus, these are three types of friction: static, the maximum friction; less than static is sliding, and much lesser than sliding friction is rolling friction. Now we will talk about fluid friction. What are fluids? Gases, that is air, water and any other liquid that has a tendency to flow. Means the state of matter that has tendency to flow is called a fluid. Fluid also exert friction on the object that passes through them. Fluid exert friction on the object that crosses through them, that passes through them. Now, this fluid friction is called drag. So what is drag? The friction exerted by fluids, air and water, is called drag. The drag or the fluid friction depends on certain factors like nature of the fluid. It depends on the viscosity of the fluid, how thicker or thinner that liquid is. It depends on the shape of the object. And in the third factor, it depends on the speed of the object. More the speed of the object through the fluid, more will be the friction on it and more heat will be produced in that case. So, what is done to reduce this fluid friction? So, you must have seen that the bodies of aircrafts, vehicles, ships are made streamlined. They are pointed from the front so that they can easily reduce the fluid friction and can cross through it. Similarly, in animals also, the nature has given them streamlined bodies, like the bodies of birds, fishes. That pointed type of body is called streamlined body. Due to this streamlined body, they can easily move through the fluid with minimum friction on them. So in this chapter, what we have covered, we have understood the role of friction as necessary factor, as evil, and the methods of increasing or decreasing the friction according to different circumstances. And finally, we have talked about the types of friction and the friction exerted by fluid, that is drag. So this was all about the chapter friction. Thank you.